Good morning everyone. Today we'll be discussing about IEEE 802.11, that is a WLAN standard. Okay. So 802 is a unique number which is given for WLAN by IEEE. Okay, there is no mystery behind that number. It is just a number given for this particular standard, as IEEE allots unique number for each and every standard. Okay. Now, there are two types of WLANs, that is ad hoc networks and infrastructure WLAN. Okay, what is basically the difference? Okay, in an ad hoc network, a station will communicate with another station directly, whereas in infrastructure WLAN, a station communicates with another station through an access point. Okay. Now, what exactly is a station? When I'm telling a station communicates with another station directly, it is ad hoc network. When a station communicates with another station through an access point, it is infrastructure WLAN. So here the term gets repeated, station. What exactly is station? Station is nothing but any device. Okay, it can be your mobile, it can be your computer, anything. Okay, that wishes to communicate with the other device. Okay. So now we will just see what is infrastructure WLAN. Okay, now you can see the diagram here. This is nothing but your infrastructure WLAN. Now here let us go one by one. Okay, now whatever devices you are seeing here, these are nothing but I mentioned earlier, these are the stations. A station wishes to communicate with another station. Now here we have another thing, that is access point. So all the stations are connected to the access point. So these stations communicate with each other through this access point. Okay. Now you can see there is a circle. Okay. There is a grouping. Okay. I cannot say it is a circle. It is a grouping. Okay. What exactly it means is the access points and the stations, all the stations here are within the same range. Here if you see, this access point and all these stations are within the same range. So we will just term it as basic service set. What exactly is basic service set? Or the stations and the access point lying in the same range. It is nothing but basic service set. Okay, now this basic service set is connected to this basic service set, and this basic service set may be connected to other hundreds of basic service sets. So what it means, the collection of basic service set is termed as extended service set. Okay, now again I repeat, this individual things where the stations and access point lie in the same range, it is basic service set. One basic service set may be connected to another basic service set through an extended service set. Okay. Now in extended service set, each and every station and the access point will have a unique ID or unique address, MAC address, which is 48 bits. Okay. I repeat, in the extended service set, all the stations and the access points will have a MAC address, and the length of the MAC address will be 48 bits. Other than that, each access point will have something known as SSID, that is service set ID, which can be maximum 32 characters. Service set ID or SSID will be useful for accessing the particular access point and getting connected to the access point. Okay. Now here you can see something, there is another thing known as radius server. Radius server is nothing but it is used for authenticating remote clients. Okay. Now so far you have understood what is basic service set, what is extended service set, what is MAC address. Each and every station and access point in extended service set will have unique MAC address. Along with that, you know now what is SSID. That is nothing but a unique ID for each and every access point. Okay, going to the connection. Okay, now we'll see how the stations will come to know about the access points within their range and get connected to the access point. Okay, this task can be divided into two parts. That is, first the station will discover the access point. Next, the stations will associate to the access point. Okay, so when a station gets powered on, how will it discover the nearest access point or the access point within its range. Okay, it happens two ways. Either of the ways can happen. That is, first one is through beacon frame. Okay, beacon frame is broadcasted by the access point periodically. Okay, on a periodic basis, beacon frame will be broadcasted by the access points. Now whenever a station powers on, it will receive the beacon frame, and in the beacon frame the SSID of the access point will be specified. So it can get the SSID of the access point and it can get connected to that particular access point. The next one is probe request frame. Okay, so what happens whenever a station powers on, it will probe. Okay, it will send a probe request frame to all the access points. Okay, now the access point within the range will send a probe response frame. Okay, after getting the probe response frame, the particular station will come to know about the SSID of the access point. Along with that, certain other features like what is the data rate, what is the capacity of the access point, everything will be specified in the probe response frame. Okay, so in the first step we have seen how a particular station will discover the access point within its range. Okay, that, as I told you, happens through beacon frame broadcasted by the access point and probe request frame sent by the station. Okay, after getting the access point information, a particular station has to send a associate request frame. That is, I have discovered the particular access point. I have to get connected to that access point. That is nothing but associating with access point. So same way how in this particular thing you had a probe request frame and a probe response frame, in the same way the station will send an associate request frame to the access point, as it has already got the SSID of the access point. Access point will agree for association with this particular station by sending an associate response frame. Okay, so we have divided and understood the discovery and association of a access point. Okay, now next one is we have various protocols which is used for authentication in WLAN. Okay, now when we use the particular protocols, many types of attacks can happen. Here they have discussed two types of attacks. That is, during the during the discovery of access point, a beacon frame or a beacon frame or a probe request frame will be transmitted. Okay, will be sent. So if somebody is sniffing or eavesdropping this, it can easily get to know about the SSID of an access point, and it can act as an access point for further authentications. Okay, that is, sniffing the value of SSID by eavesdropping the various frames during discovery of the access point. One can easily get the SSID, that is nothing but service set ID of the access point, and once it gets the SSID, it can act as that particular access point and perform further authentications. Okay, another way where there is a restriction on MAC addresses which can get connected to a wireless LAN, an attack can happen wherein a person can spoof, means he can impersonate a particular MAC address and get into a wireless LAN. First he will try to sniff the communication which is happening, and then after that he gets the MAC address of a particular valid MAC address and tries to spoof or impersonate that particular MAC address. Okay, that is your two attacks during authentication. Okay, now coming to the next topic. To prevent such type of attacks, what sort of action has been taken. Okay, so in authentication in WEP, that is a protocol, okay, what sort of authentication methodology they have used, we'll just have a look. Okay, they have used a methodology known as challenge response. Okay, challenge response. Here what exactly happens, we'll see step by step. Okay, now access point, what is the basic thing? Access point gets connected to station. The station should authenticate itself to the access point. That is the basic thing. So here what first happens is the access point will send a challenge. Challenge is nothing but, as we have already discussed, it is a nonce. Nonce means number used only once. Okay, the access point will send a challenge to the station. What the station will do? Station will encrypt this challenge and it will attach it with a response and send it to the access point. I repeat, the access point will send a challenge to the station. The station is going to encrypt this challenge and send it back to the access point. Along with the encrypted challenge, it also sends a response. Now what exactly is the response? We'll see. Okay, response is nothing but a key stream XORed with the challenge sent by the access point. So what is this key stream now? Each term we get, we have to understand what is it. Key stream is nothing but, we will get the key stream by applying a function to a 40-bit secret key, secret number, secret key known to all the stations and the access point within a particular range, and a 24-bit initialization vector. So 40-bit secret will be known to both access point as well as the station. It will be given to a function along with the 24-bit initialization vector to generate the key stream. Now this particular key stream will be XORed with the challenge sent from the access point and sent back to the access point. Now at the access point side, what happens is it already knows what is the secret. What it doesn't know is the 24-bit initialization vector. So along with this encrypted challenge response, it also sends this 24-bit initialization vector. So now the access point knows what is the secret. It already knows the 40-bit secret. Now this station will send 24-bit initialization vector. So with that both and the function and the particular function, we'll get the key stream. Now this key stream, after the access point obtains the key stream, it is going to XOR it with the challenge which it has sent. Okay, so this is a way of authentication. Okay, what exactly happens? I repeat once again, what is happening is access point will send a challenge. The station will encrypt the challenge and send it back to the access point. Station will generate a response that also will be sent to the access point. For generating a response, it will apply a function on a secret which is known to the access point as well as the station, and a 24-bit initialization vector. Now when it applies a function on this secret and the initialization vector, it is going to get a key stream. This particular key stream will be XORed with the challenge and sent to the access point. Now access point will be knowing about the secret, 40-bit secret, and it will also know about the challenge, but what it doesn't know is a 24-bit initialization vector which will also be sent from the station side to the access point. Okay, now when we have this challenge response strategy also, there can be a sort of attack. Okay, this attack is nothing but, it can be launched by monitoring the challenge response pair for some time. Okay, sometime the particular challenge and its response, challenge response pair sent from the station to the access point will be monitored for some time. If I constantly monitor, I will be able to compute the particular key stream. Once I get the key stream, what will happen? I will get the key stream and I will XOR with the challenge from the access point. Okay, understood? So I will act as a particular station. It can also launch a dictionary attack and directly obtain S. What exactly is S here? The secret, 40-bit secret, which this particular access point shares and all the stations in the same range share. So once I get S, I can add to the station within the range of that access point and attack the particular access point.